What's up, guys? Clutch Fact Thursday, bringing you a Brine King 2 and King 2 ST Lacrosse head review. This is going to be a little lengthy just because there's two different heads and there's a little bit to cover, as well as my opinions on them and the things I'm working on to show you guys at the end of the video. So big thanks to Brine for sending two of these over. They came in this really cool box. On the inside it had the two heads. Down here it said King 2 Take Control, or just King Take Control, and talked about their all-new King line of equipment, which they say is a crowning achievement, which is kind of goofy, but, you know, it is what it is. And then up here it has the two different models, King 2 and King 2 ST, and talks a bit about the differences between the two, which one is better for what, and things like that. So we'll dive into reviews now. First thing, both heads have Very Flex in it, which was introduced with the Clutch 4. I don't think we've seen any since the Clutch 4 until the Brine King 2 and King 2 ST. Very Flex, in my opinion, is kind of a gimmick. Oh, the RP32 had it as well. Very Flex is nice. It's kind of a secondary plastic injected into both the heads in certain areas that keep it nice and stiff where you need it to. In my opinion, with the Clutch 4, it made it way too stiff, and if you flexed it a little bit to the side, it would snap. But the King 2 and King 2 ST have Very Flex up here in the scoop. You can kind of see where the little gray indents are. And here on the sidewalls, you can see it here as well, which kind of caused a little bit of issues for stringing, but, you know, it is what it is. So we'll start with the King 2 ST, which is what I have here. This is more for the LSM and D MIDI. The bottom rail is made for a mid to mid-high pocket. The Very Flex is put right here, and it's a very stiff head. It's also very, very thick and very heavy. The King 2 ST, I believe, is at 6.2 ounces, and the King 2 is 5.2, so it's a whole ounce heavier than most heads out there on the market. So it's really just a tank, but when you flex it, you know, it's still got some flexibility up here on the top, but right here where the Very Flex is, it doesn't want to flex a whole lot. So if you're an LSM or D guy and you're looking for a new offering, Brine King 2 ST may be what you're looking for. Little tidbits here, so it says ST right here, Brine King 2 ball stop. And it has Brine and Warrior's lock throw technology here. This one in a nice baby blue color, which I really like. I'm a big fan of the way they do this lock throw. The Evo Warp, when it first came out, was way too difficult. And this one's a little easier. It's in all the new Warrior heads and will be for a while. But you guys probably know some information about that already. So getting into the actual stringability of the King 2s, the first thing you'll notice is these sidewall holes. The first two are fairly large. I actually, which I'll show you in the King 2, had to put 3 sidewall wraps around here so the knot didn't pull through, which is a little overkill. I think they could have made it a little smaller. And then the next 3 right here are extremely small, which I'm not sure what they're going with there. I think maybe to put a shooting string through as well as a sidewall. So that's a little iffy. And right here where the pocket goes, these holes are very large. The Very Flex kind of spine part right here makes them a bit smaller, but regardless, they're still very large, which some people may like, some people may not. And getting down to the bottom, the last 4 are a little smaller. 4 throat holes, which is pretty standard. 6 top string holes, which is also standard. But getting to the actual sidewall holes themselves, since these ones are so much larger, you could even do 2 knots through each of them to keep the pocket where you want it to. So naturally, since they're so large, and the little corner part is right here, when you string it up, if you string a pocket that sits mid, as you break it in, the knot's going to shift and tighten upward here up at the top, naturally pushing the pocket a little higher. So in the King ST, if you're looking for a mid to mid-high pocket, which is what they're designed for, that's pretty good. It's pretty, I wouldn't say monumental or huge, but it does make a small difference there in those holes. King 2 ST, I definitely think it's a solid option for an LSM just because where the pocket's supposed to go and how stiff it is, but it's also very bulky, and I don't know why they did a King 2 and King 2 ST. The Brine Dictator had the 2 versions, and the ST, in my opinion, wasn't all that good, but then again, I don't take face-off, so don't listen to me on that. So King 2 ST, I don't have a whole lot of information or much of a review for this one simply because I don't play LSM, I never have, and I don't intend on it, so if you're interested in a new LSM head and you're a big Brine guy or you like the face shape of this, which is actually pretty nice, definitely check out the Brine King ST when it comes out. Definitely check more YouTube videos. I'm sure there'll be a couple people here and there who do reviews on the King ST based off of LSM and defensive play. So In my opinion, I think it's a good offering. It's a little heavy for me. The sidewall holes are a little janky, but if you're going for mid to mid high pocket as the notch shift upward, it'll work just fine for you guys. So King ST, not sure about durability of it, but you'll just have to wait until you see more reviews. So now getting into the Brine King 2, which is kind of more what I'm a fan of and my specialty since it's more offensive minded. Here's what I did with mine: String King 3S, 1 nylon, 1 straight, kind of a CF37 pocket. But like I was saying, these top ones, I had to wrap them around twice and then the knot to make sure that they didn't move anywhere. And even then, you can look here. The top one, I probably could have done another wrap or another 2 wraps here, just because those holes are so large. And the third one, 2 wraps does it pretty well, but it strung up very nicely. It got the pocket I was looking for, which is kind of a baggy mid pocket that shifts low and shifts high. The Variant Flex, as you can see where the sidewalls are, they don't touch the sidewall string. But this goes back to what I said, when you string it up and you pull the mesh and you break it in, the knots, they shift upward and lock into that area. So no matter what you string with this, your pocket's naturally going to sit a little higher. And since the holes are so large, if you don't string your sidewalls very tight, you have the option or the possibility of these strings shifting a little bit when you're playing, which could cause for some inconsistency, but I really don't think it's going to matter a whole lot. The face shape of it is very nice. It reminds me of an M80X, where it's very, very straightforward, little natural pinch here in the middle, and it kind of opens up a little bit. But just like the old Brine King, this head is a bit longer than other heads. So honestly, you could do 10 diamonds with a long bottom string like I did, or even make 11 diamonds and it'll still be legal and play the way you want it to. So you just kind of got to mess around with it. Lock throw technology here, which is pretty nifty, like we covered in the first one. But you see that nowadays in all of the Brine and Warrior heads, which I think it's a cool little option. String ability only took me 1 time to really get the pocket I wanted to, because the sidewall holes, they're very well placed and they're very well sized. It's pretty easy to string up, especially if you know roughly what you're doing. But the head itself, I really like it. I think that the King 2 is great for an offensive player who likes to shoot the ball. Since it is longer, it's going to create a bit more of a natural channel, and it's going to keep the ball furthest away from your hands if you have a mid pocket or a high pocket, which is good for shooting. You're going to get just a little bit more power. Since it is so narrow and very pinched and flexes a little bit with the Very Flex, it is going to have a bit more accuracy than some other heads that are way too stiff, which I think is really cool. Not only that, but Brine, the King wasn't one of the best sellers. It was kind of an iffy head. It was cool for a first month or 2 and then it died off. I think them resurrecting and making it something newer and better is definitely really cool. I also think Brine Lacrosse is kind of, this is like their last ditch effort before they go under, simply because New Balance owns Warrior and Warrior's kind of their child, and Brine is kind of the stepchild no one likes. So Brine Lacrosse equipment, I think, is dying, and I think this is a last ditch effort. But nonetheless, it's a really cool offering. I'm not sure when they come out or price range. I believe they're at $89.99, which is pretty standard. But having 2 heads with 2 different variations and options is really cool. If you're a huge Brine guy, like I said, and you play LSM, and you're looking for something that's not a Mark IID or a hammer or anything that's like really D-related, the King 2 ST could be really good. Or if you like a mid to mid-high pocket and a really beefy head, King 2 ST is a good option. King 2, really good option if you're an outside shooter and you really like this long, narrow head that has a nice pinch to it, but also has a little bit of flex to it when you go to shoot. So I think it's really cool. I don't know how long the Very Flex will hold right here, especially if you're a defender that's laying a lot of checks, simply because with the Clutch 4 they broke a lot where the Very Flex was down here in the bottom. The scoop portion, I think Very Flex does pretty well. Keeps the scoop nice and stiff, so no matter how long you play, it's going to really just keep its shape. Face shape, like I said, it's phenomenal. I'm a big fan of it. It really has kind of a long, narrow face shape, which, when you string up a pocket in it, it's going to kind of have just a natural channel and a natural shooter's feel to it. So if you're a dodger who likes to finish and pass, I wouldn't recommend the King 2. If you're an outside shooter, someone that shoots the ball a lot, King 2 could be the next best option for you. So that's my review of the Brine King 2 and King 2 ST. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of information I can give on the 2 ST, simply because I don't think I have a lot of credibility when it comes to LSM and defense and mid-high pockets, because I don't do that a whole lot. But the Brine King 2, I feel like I can give you guys a good amount of information on it in my personal opinion. So there's one final look at the Brine King 2. Strings up like a breeze, very nice pocket. Honestly, I think I would actually consider using one of these just because I really like the face shape and the way they string up. Also being a little longer than most heads, it's going to be great for accuracy and shooting and passing. So Brine King 2, check it out. Not sure when it releases or the final price. I believe $89.99 for both of them. But definitely a cool offering if you're looking for something new that's a little unique. So before we go, Iconic Lacrosse is going to be coming into effect here early October. October 1st is when I'm going to do the official launch. And outside of that, I'm trying to get a little bit more money to kind of offer some cool stuff for you guys. So I have a bunch of custom dyed and strung heads going on my website for sale for cheap. So some USA ones. I got 2 USA ones left for now. Sion and Mirage. Definitely check those out. Come On Strung. Mirage comes with a headstand. And I have 4 tribal heads, which they're my favorite to do because the pattern is unique and it looks really cool and it's simple. But getting the color schemes right is a little tricky based off of head and team. So we got an orange prequel, a green command low, a blue Mirage, and a purple prequel as well. And then just some other little tidbits. Baby blue Dragonfly 7, Stallion 700 strung up this way. So like I said, guys, Brine King 2, definitely check him out. Iconic Lacrosse coming October 1st. Just trying to gather a little bit more funds so I can get some really cool stuff for you guys before the release date. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know your opinions on the King 2. Hopefully someone else does a review of the King 2 ST so you guys can get a feel if you're looking for a new LSM or D head. That way you're not just basing off of an offensive player's mindset. But I think they're really cool offerings, and I think that, if Brine sticks around and they really push these heads and people start using them, they could be, some of the better heads to come out this year. So let me know your guys' opinion on them. I'm a big fan of the King 2. King 2 ST, not so much just because I don't play LSM, but, King 2, really cool option. Big thanks to Brine for sending this over, and hope you guys enjoy.